Good morning, everyone. I'm Marla Goldberrg, and I'm here with my colleague, Mike Cavalli, and our guest today, psychic medium Sheri Jewel. This is the Global Consciousness Development Circle's Meditation Day, and we're so happy and excited that you're with us for this journey that Sheri's going to take us on. Thank you, Sheri, for joining us.
Thanks, you guys, for having me.
I know it's a bit early for you. It took a little bit to get you here.
A lot of iced tea.
But here you are, looking great, sounding good.
Yeah, as they say, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, as we say.
Yeah, well, I don't know about bushy-tailed right now, but
I don't know. I didn't see the tail, but she definitely looks bright-eyed.
Caffeine.
Where are we going with this conversation?
We don't know yet, right?
I'm teasing. No, I'm really looking forward to. I had an experience with Sheri just a little while ago, and she led it on meditation, and I have to tell you, it was fun. It was authentically Sheri, and it was powerful and deep. That's all I could say about what I experienced with you just, what was it, 10 days ago, maybe a week ago?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Something like that.
We'll
So
something like that again. I'm imagining do the same thing because being a medium, right? Mike, you are one. Marla, I'm sure you're one. I just think that we all need a little support now, right? From our loved ones, our ancestors, angels, whatever you believe in. So I think the meditation today, what we'll do is we'll also try to do that again and have someone meet us from, mom, dad, spirit world, angels, guide, whatever. Yeah. And see if they can give us any guidance or just, give you some love.
So I think the best way to put it is whomever you meet in this meditation, be open, ask questions, ask this being, whomever the being might be, who you are. If you don't recognize them, do they have a message for you? Is there something you need to know? Or if you've got a burning question, ask that being that question. Because it will definitely, if you just allow it to, it will blossom into an answer for you. You agree, Sheri, Mike?
Yeah, I agree. And I would also add to that is open up all possibilities to how the answer is received, either image, hear it, symbolic, however it comes, just open yourself up to the idea. In other words, don't resist how the answer to the question comes. Yeah,
because you might even feel it. It could be a knowing, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's always good too to have like maybe a pen and paper. So like either during it or after the meditation, you write it down because a lot of times we forget. And then we wake up and we're like, wait a minute, we forgot, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
It's like what they say. But it is just like Mike said, like willing to receive and don't judge how it comes. Don't, get your mind in it where it has to come. Oh, I got to hear it,
Yeah.
Right.
It's another thing I do too when I meditate. Mike, I don't know if you guys do this. I close my eyes and I roll my eyes up to my third eye. Do you guys ever do that?
Yes.
And then
Sometimes.
Does that make sense? Because I roll my eyes up to so I'm looking here and then it almost seems like I am seeing out of my third eye then. Yeah. That part of the brain. So you do get the clear image.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's worth a try if somebody hasn't tried it. Try it. It's
right. And it's good. What I do is I put a screen in front of the third eye. So I project to the screen like a TV. So it's like watching a TV or a movie screen.
Yeah.
And it also detaches you to do that.
Right.
Because it's like you're watching somebody else, but you're watching yourself.
Yeah, I'm a true believer in Marla, you know me. I don't think there's one way for everybody. Everybody's got to tweak themselves and find out what works for them. I'm a believer that we have to master ourselves and, just try the different ways that, people suggest to you and see what works for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be my way or Marla's way, find your own way.
Oh, come on. It does. No, I'm kidding.
When do I ever follow a rule, Marla?
I believe, it's like having a colander or a sieve. You take the information, sift it, and what stays behind is yours to keep.
Yes.
And what you don't need goes through the holes.
Yes.
That's a nice visual, I think, to be able to think about how to do it, because not everything resonates for everyone.
Right. Some people are into rituals. Some people have to do it this way. I've never been like that, I just kind of figured out how my own brain works by practice, right?
Yes.
If you don't try, you're not going to know. So you do have to try different things, try different ways. Some people like binaural beats. Some people, want to do like a chakra meditation. I'm not a chakra girl. Okay. Everybody has their own thing. To me, it's all about connecting to God and love and, yourself. I mean, that's really the gist of it. I mean, keep it simple.
That's it. And, just setting the intention that you're going to get information to guide you for your highest and best good.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you don't have a specific intention, because you can intend, you want guidance on a relationship, you want guidance on a business thing, you want to learn how to heal. Where can you heal? What needs healing? How can you heal?
Right.
You can just do this whole checklist. My personal suggestion is just do one at a time. Don't try to shove that all into one meditation and expect to get the answers.
Well, I even think just meditating, you do get peaceful, right?
Yes.
And just that in itself, especially during these times and this crazy stuff, turn off the media, turn off the news, and just disconnect, and find peace. I mean, that's what we need right now is love and peace. And
and
healing.
if,
We need to heal.
If some people's minds are wandering all the time now, that they can't even get into that meditative state. So it's best just to go for a walk in nature and try and be still, try and be calm. Because I found just when you're calm, when all this stuff is going on around you, if you can keep the calmness within you, the answers come to you anyway, like you were saying.
yes.
And so in some cases, you might not need meditation. You might just need to be still, calm, focused, and then you're in alignment with
Exactly.
everything.
And that's where the peace comes from and the miracles happen. And
Exactly.
I mean, you guys remember, I'm sure I've had a busy mind before, I'm sure you all have. We've all gone through something. And it really is cool when you get to that peaceful, silent part in your mind where the outside world doesn't affect you anymore.
Right. That's why if you ask yourself a question that you want an answer to, sometimes you get it while you're in the shower because you're not thinking about anything, or when you're driving. Even if the radio is on, your mind is clear because you're focusing on the road. You're not focusing on all the chatter that fills your head.
Well, that's
about
funny.
What's going on?
My girlfriends are like, people always call me like, sometimes I drive up north or whatever, or I'm in the car for a long time. And my friends will call me like, oh, you're driving. Good. Can I ask you a question? Because I'm paying attention to driving or listening to music or whatever. And all of a sudden, like, you're channeling a spirit or you're giving them a psychic. And they're like, we're talking to you all the time when you're driving. I'm like, yeah, so that is true. Yeah. Sometimes the harder you try, the harder it is. Where I'm a true believer. My 3 favorite words are trust, surrender, allow. Right?
Yes.
And, just let the universe, I live in synchronicity. So let the universe work for you. I haven't on this path. Things just come to me. People just come to me. And I think it's like you, Mike said, being in alignment and trusting and allowing.
Yes. Yeah. And here's the thing, frequency, even if you're feeling like icky, and your vibration is down, by meditating, you naturally just lift yourself up. Mm-hmm. Even if it's for the period of time during meditation and right after. And if you go back into it, because there's a choice, you don't have to go back into it. You can try to hold on to this feeling you come out of meditation with.
And what I find too, even people say they don't have time to meditate. You don't have to meditate for half an hour. No. It could be 5 minutes.
Right.
I know sometimes if I get upset or sad, and we all have feelings still, I will just sometimes close my eyes for a minute. And I think Marla, you've seen me do this, is I just breathe in God's love. So I imagine it could be gold. I believe I like
gold and white light.
Gold. Well, I like gold light. I like to go higher than white. So breathing, white light, gold light, pink light for love. And imagine like you're breathing in God's love. And then in my head, I kind of like think up like through the universe. Yeah. And instantly you can go from almost like a depressed state to feeling peace and joy and happiness.
And knowing that one thing I learned when I was very young is that you are where you are because there's something there is for you to learn. So if you're not in the best place, stop for a minute and say, okay, what am I supposed to get from this experience? What lesson, opportunity, or gift is in this? Because everything has a lesson, opportunity, or gift in my world, how I think about things.
Well, even like when I think a lot of people, including myself, on the spiritual journey went through some trauma or emotional experience, right? That's kind of how we all get to this. And you know, I can say, like, looking back on my journey was really quick when I opened up. But if I didn't go through, let's just say it, the crap in my life, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I wouldn't be
Exactly.
spiritual. I wouldn't have had this connection with, you know, archangels and divine beings or spirit or whatever you want to call it. So I can actually look back, like, you know, there's a few years that were hell for me, and I can look back on life and those experiences in gratitude now, because it brought me to where I am now. Without that, my gifts probably would have never opened. I wouldn't have the connections I have in sitting here with you. And another thing is, if we didn't go through our own crap and heal from it, how could we help somebody else?
Exactly.
You know, we wouldn't be compassionate. We wouldn't be non-judgmental, unconditional love. There would be no wisdom, right? So it's like, someone that's an alcoholic that goes to AA, they have a sponsor, right? Because that sponsor's been through it. So that's why they have a sponsor. So somebody that's been through it can help you. So I think that's why we all do go through our crap. So, you know, hopefully humanity, we're going through crap right now, and that is going to help wake people up. Or,
And, you know, for me, each day I try to send healing light to everybody who needs it. So people who, you know, are open to receiving will receive, and hopefully it will heal their heart. It will heal some of their wounds.
yeah.
It's just a way that, you know, for me to give back. That's how I look at
Well,
it.
the more love, like, we put out there, you know, I have tapped into the collective and heard everybody talking at once. So I know it's true. That was kind of a trippy experience. I was like, what the heck? There was like thousands of people talking. I'm like, okay, get me out of here. You know? But so I know, you know, our thoughts, our intentions do go out to the collective. So as long as people keep spewing, you know, diversity stuff or anger and all that, that's all going up there. And we're, you know, helping create what's going on here. So if people could just start sending love, you know, like sometimes in meditation, or even not even in meditation, I'll imagine seeing, like, you know, planet Earth, right? And wrapping my arms around it. It just that intention, or sending pink light to it or love to it. It's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be some really deep, complicated thing.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the problem with humanity, isn't it? We're looking for something that's so big and vast and wild, but it's actually within us with simple intention. And the more you practice, the more you believe, the more the heart and mind is synchronized, the more you act how you want the intention to be played out, the stronger that vibration is within you, therefore the stronger it goes out. It, you know, so it basically, we talk the talk, but we got to walk the walk, and then it gets stronger. Yeah,
It's so true. It's true.
I mean, it's all intention, imagination, and I think sometimes, you know, especially people at the beginning of this journey, they get so much more difficult, or, you know, mentors or teachers, whatever, make it so difficult, where it's very simple.
Yeah.
And it's very simple. And the other thing too, you were talking about what you breathe in. When I start my meditation, through my meditation, I breathe in the golden white light and love, but I breathe out the golden white light and love, because it's breathing in, let it go into the heart, breathe out. And that's a way of getting the frequency of love, pure love, out there for everybody. And then I visualize the energy just, you know, I don't know, like growing across the area and spreading across the United States.
It's almost like you can, you imagine like the white light pushing your aura out, and then the light goes down your street, through your neighborhood, through the state, through, it's expanding. Or even when you just breathe in God's love, if everyone like close their eyes now and just breathe in God's love, you feel better physically. I mean, you will feel lighter. You can actually feel like yourself in your auric field, like expanding, you know? I mean, you just got to pay attention and have that awareness to how you feel.
Yes. And it's so exciting, because I always get excited about how I feel, because when I'm done meditating, I always come out of it feeling like I hate to say it, like home, and then I jump into my busy life, but at least I've given myself that gift.
Or I love the people. Yeah, exactly. And I love the people who always say, I'm too busy to meditate. Yeah, you're probably the one that should be meditating the most.
It's so true.
Right?
It's true.
But people, you don't have to just meditate one way in silence. Some people do have an active mind and it's hard. So, you know, go on YouTube. There's free guided meditations. You can purchase CDs or whatever. You can download them on your computer. but you could also just do it by walking, exercising,
Mhm,
know,
getting in the zone.
be careful with the driving, because I have kind of train stop when I'm driving. I'm like, oh, so don't do that. But yeah, there is so many different things. People meditate when they clean. It's any state where, your mind just
And when
slows
you're in a
down.
you're doing something repetitious that's sort of mindless.
Yes.
Then I mean, I hate to put it that way, but then you can just sort of, like you said, get in that zone.
Just go blank. Yeah.
And yeah, and that's a way of feeling like yoga. The great thing about yoga for me is that because you're so focused on where you breathe in, where you breathe out, holding your thing, and you're focused on that, by the time you leave, because you're breathing so much, and a
Mhm.
lot of people don't breathe deeply, so they don't oxygenate their body.
Right.
My body always feels like, that was so good, because it's like a release, and you
Well,
just
and people
let
that have a
go.
hard time meditating with the busy minds, just always bring your focus back to like your breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, because your mind always wants to chatter and do stuff. The more you try to stop it, the more it's going to go. Okay.
Which
So
is your ego.
yeah, it's just going to keep, going, but you can just, let it, whatever pizza pops in your head, it pops in your head, but then bring your attention back to breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth, because you're giving your mind like a job to do. Right. And it helps.
It truly helps. Well, I think that this might be a great time to segue into giving the floor to Sheri and letting Sheri
Right.
guide this meditation.
Super.
Super. Okay. I love his accent. Super.
He's wonderful. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Oh,
you.
no.
Okay. Is everything okay?
Yes.
You weren't recording it.
I know. I forgot to record, but the good news is it's recorded on Facebook.
Well, I
So-
can get you a copy of the whole recording, Marla,
Oh,
of the
you.
whole live event.
Well, and that's what the great thing is. Bridget's going to do that for us too.
Okay. Super.
Gotta love Bridget. Hi, Bridget.
hi, Bridget. Thank you, whoever Bridget is. Okay. Good morning, people, too. So, I guess let's, what are we going to do? Should we go to Peru again?
Wherever you want to go, let me get the music going. Peru, I love Peru. Okay, this is your cue.
Okay. So everyone close your eyes. Okay. Set the intention now to invite your loved ones in the spirit world, your guides, your angels, the divine beings of light that work with you, to be with you on this journey. We're going to visit Peru. We're going to go up on a mountain. Just close your eyes, breathe in through your nose. Just keep deep breaths, like deep belly breaths that you hold for 4 seconds and exhale for 4 seconds. Just imagine a really tall mountain in Peru. There's a beautiful blue sky. We're all going to go together in a group. The donkeys are going to take us up to the top of the mountain. Energy is much stronger with a collective group. So we see the donkeys all lined up. You're going to walk to the one that you just think is so cute and resonate with. Just say hi to your donkey. Imagine yourself petting his neck, thanking him for the safe ride to the top of the mountain. There's a beautiful gold blanket on the donkey. It's time for you to get on your donkey. You feel safe and secure and peaceful. You're going to start walking in a line consecutively. And there's a winding path that goes higher and higher and around the mountain till we get to the top. You're going to start walking now. When you look down, you can see the donkey's hoofs touching the ground. You hear the birds. You feel the warm air and the beautiful sky surrounding you with joy, love, and peace. We're walking around the path, circling the mountain. And it gets higher and higher and higher as we go up. And keep going around and around, higher and higher. All the time being aware of your senses. You're so peaceful, you're so loving. Your loved ones in the spirit world, your angels, the guides, the divine light beings are on this journey with you, and they will meet you at the top, give you a message, to feel them. Moving around the mountain one more time. It's getting steeper and steeper and steeper. We're just going to take a pause for a moment. Look up at the sky. What do you see? A blue sky, clouds, birds, the sun. You look to your right and you see a patch of purple flowers. And you just breathe in their essence. You look to the left and you see a patch of yellow flowers. The yellow flowers bring you joy. You just breathe in the sun, the wind going through your hair. Okay, it's time to get walking again so we can go higher. You see the donkeys hitting the ground again. You hear the noise as they hit the ground. And you see the path and you see it going higher and higher and higher, around and around and around the mountain. You're about 3/4 of the way up. And just keep breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Soon you will start sensing someone coming near you. And they will walk beside you or be beside you on the donkey. And they will be with you when we get to the top. And they will give you a beautiful message that is personal only to you. Keep breathing. Keep envisioning the path now, going higher and going in a circular pattern around the mountain. And each step we take, we get higher and higher and higher. We feel so peaceful, joyful, in total surrender and trust. Our awareness is heightening. And we're going higher around the mountain and higher. The top of the mountain, the peak of the mountain is now in your view. Just a couple more times to go around and we'll be at the top. You see the path, you see the donkey's hoofs hitting the ground, going on a steeper and steeper incline. Keep breathing, keep feeling the sun, the warm air, the wind blowing through your hair. You hear the birds, the rustling of the leaves. We only have one more time around the top of the mountain. So we're getting to the top now. And your loved ones, your guides, your angels, the divine beings of light are with you. And they will stay with you till the end of this meditation. Okay, we have now arrived to the top of the mountain. We're all collectively as a group getting off our donkey. And we're going to sit together at the top of the mountain. This is the place where we will receive. Sit on the ground. We're all going to sit in a circle with our legs crossed. And just imagine like you're sitting at the top of the world with all that is right now. And you're looking out from the top of this mountain and seeing that beautiful blue sky, the cloud. You see an eagle flying by. Does an eagle have a message for you? You are one with all that is. We're all one together. Face your face up to the sun and let it fill you with source energy. It feels so good, so warm, so peaceful. Close your eyes and sit peacefully. And you are now going to be greeted by a loved one in the spirit world, an angel, a divine being of light. They will sit with you. You'll become aware of them. They may visually show you something. You may hear a message. You may feel something. Don't judge how the message comes to you. Just trust, surrender, allow, and sit in silence for a few minutes while they join you. They're sharing your love, their wisdom with you now. If you have a question, ask them. And if you have something that you want to say to them, by all means, share with them. It's okay to feel emotions or emotional issues come up. It's all very healing, and it's a release. I'm just going to ask them to give you healing spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Okay, we're going to give it about 1 more minute that you have time to sit with whoever's with you. Let them fill you with love. Okay, it'll be time for them to finish with you, but they will still be with you. And anytime you want to connect with them, you can. And say thank you and gratitude for whoever joined you, for being present with you. You feel their love, joy, and peace. We all stand up now together and embrace each other and hold hands and say thank you for this journey together. And we're going to get back on our donkeys. And before we leave, we're all going to look out and imagine seeing planet Earth. Imagine sending unconditional love to the entire existence of planet Earth, from the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the human being kingdom. You can even imagine just gold light, pink light coming from your heart and just filling the world up. You can imagine wrapping your arms around planet Earth and just showing it love. And we ask that all this love radiates throughout the United States of America to all the other countries in this world, that we all can live in love and peace and unity. You can make this a daily practice just sending love to the world. Include yourself. Okay, let's all get on our donkeys. Thank the donkeys for getting us up there safely and getting us down safely. Give your donkey a little pat. Get up on the blanket on top of your donkey. We again will be in a line going down the mountain together. We all feel such love, joy, and peace. Okay, now you're going to imagine seeing the path going downwards and seeing the donkey's hoofs hit the path. You can hear every step it takes going down. You visually can see the path spiraling down. Going down, 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 around the mountain, getting lower and lower and lower. I'm going to count from 10 down. So we're going down, number 10, down the mountain. 9, around the mountain and down the mountain. 8, we're getting lower and lower and lower. 7, you visually see us going down, down, down the path and down the mountain, spiraling around the mountain. 6, 5, 4, we're so close. We're getting more grounded and getting closer. 3, 2, we only have one more path, winding trail around the mountain, and we will be at ground level. 1. We did it. We came all the way down. We hop off our donkeys, give it a hug, give everybody a hug, and just come back to the present moment. Take deep breaths. Take this time now, if you did receive a message, to write down the message you received so you don't forget. Write down the feelings you had, any emotions you felt, any words or things you've seen on your adventure. And they're personal only to you. Mike Cavalli, come back. Come back. I think I said your name wrong, Cavalli.
Yeah,
I'm like, come back, dude, come back.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Yeah.
So I don't know. Did you guys experience anything?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's up to you if you want to share. It's personal to you.
The first image I saw this beautiful archangel that was illuminated in gold. But it kept telling me it was Archangel Michael, and it's like, but where's the blue? Where's the cobalt
Your assumption.
blue? But and then there was a hand that reached out for mine,
Oh,
and my uncle came to me, so and left me beautiful messages. So
oh.
it was a very fortuitous meditation.
Yeah,
in
and
terms of
Archangel Michael's like my
visits.
buddy. Archangel Michael always works with me, and it's even funny, the clients I get or the people I end up working with, professionally are always connected to Archangel Michael. So it's interesting that he came. And my ear hums when spirit comes, and my ear was humming the whole time. So definitely they're with us right now.
It was quite a full room.
You think you could feel it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about you,
Mike?
Mike?
Me? Yeah. Well, I walked up with the donkeys. I didn't ride up on the donkeys.
Oh, you went the hard way.
I went the hard way. And actually my father was at the top waiting. He didn't say anything, but I just got a knowing of keeping calm and carrying on. That was the message. But funny enough,
Yeah,
on the way down, a dog popped in just out of the blue, and I don't think it looked like a Dalmatian. It might not have been a Dalmatian, but it was white with some black spots. I only saw the face side on, and I know I don't have a Dalmatian or had a Dalmatian, so it might have been for somebody you two know, but it was a lovely little thing.
It's interesting with the black and white, like, you know, kind of that's like yin and yang too. So
yeah.
that represent or symbolize something else like balance.
It could be balance.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, could be.
I mean, Mike, I don't know you well. Do you have to keep a balance? I don't know.
I do.
We all
all
do.
Yeah.
I was just joking. I'm not picking on you. Just having some fun. But it's you know, and you can do this yourself. I mean, it's just visual, just by closing your eyes, and just it's all imagination and intention, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing, the only thing that's present, you know, the present moment is only your breath.
Hmm.
So, you know, even people with anxiety, you know, people get really revved up. You know, I've done it myself. And if they could just take a step back before it really cycles high and just focus, close your eyes, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth.
90 seconds.
You
In
will.
90 seconds, you'll work through that emotion.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure about exactly the seconds, but you know, but the trick is you got to catch it before it like totally cycles and revs up, right?
Right.
So the minute you feel something coming in or a negative thought that comes in your head or a fear-based thought, take a step back, close your eyes, breathe in God's love through your nose, into your deep down in your belly, and exhale out. And you're going to find that peace, right? I mean, because you have to break it, you know, it's, and then, again, I just really believe the present moment is just the individual breath.
Well, and it keeps you in the present moment, because if you start getting into your mind, just come back to your breath, as you said earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. When we first started talking, you talked about coming back to your breath, and that is the way to get out of your monkey mind. And it's the way to train your mind.
Right.
To just, it's time, you know, it's like psychics and mediums, right? The shop is closed, you know, don't bother me right now. This is my personal time. But it's a training, right? That's what I'm talking about. Everything's a training. So it's training your mind the same way.
Or even like, you know, people that like are constantly hard on themselves and beating themselves up, you know, I always say like, you know, we need to master our mind and not let the mind master us. Okay. So like, let's say sometimes I have a negative thought coming in, or anxiety thought, whatever, you know, whatever, angry thought, whatever it is, you know, in my head, I'm like, would you shut up? You ain't doing this to me today. You know, right? So it's just like, if you can catch that thought as it's coming in and just stop it, you're not going to get on that cycle, you know, of spiraling.
Like Barney Fife says, snip it in the bud.
Imagine a baseball bat, go away. Right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's really, but that actually gets into like awareness, right? It's us having awareness
Yes.
on how our mind, our thoughts, you know, and we can change them. We can be like an alchemist and switch what's happening with us.
Well, the reality of it is we all are alchemists. It's just learning how to tap into the alchemy, making alchemy for yourself and for others.
Yeah. Well, you have to be the person you want to be. You have to live how you want to be.
Yes.
And that takes courage, that takes practice, and it takes one day at a time. And so, you know, we get back to the same old thing. If you want joy, you must be joy. If you want love, you must be love. You can't expect someone to love you if you don't really love yourself. All you're going to do is going to meet someone who's going to love you exactly the same way as you love yourself. So, yeah, we have to be quite aware of what our thoughts are, who we are, and the direction that we're heading in, and change it if it's not working. And that takes a bit of courage, because it's a little bit of the unknown.
Well,
but hey, my comfort zone doesn't have one anymore. You know,
well, you're actually like hitting on one of my favorite subjects. Is my number one fear was public speaking. Okay,
you're joking.
No, I got the biggest mouth in the world. I was like class clown when I, like, you know, in high school, I got kicked out of class for talking. I was always back of the room. But when it came to actually standing up and doing a speech, just me by myself, even though my brain wasn't nervous, my body would react, like my neurological system. I would shake. I'd be like, "Ah," you know. And even when I was a hairdresser and someone was watching me behind me, I'm like, "Ah," you know. It was just I don't know. I don't know where that fear came from. I actually think it was a past life, because I do know. I know where it kind of came from. But so what it is like my first opportunity as a medium. I was brand new. Was in a gallery. I'm not going to really say who it was for, but it was with somebody quite well known. And it was in front of 50 people. It was my first gallery. Most mediums start out in someone's living room with 6 people. Okay, now remember, fear of public speaking, and now I'm in front of 50 people. It was being filmed and with a famous rock star, okay? And I'm like, oh, excuse my language. I'm like, oh shit, okay. I'm like, how am I gonna do this? But I'm like, I'm also kind of like a person that I would be really mad at myself if I didn't do it. And I have these opportunities, you know? So, and again, I was a brand new medium pretty much. And so I remember I said yes, and I'm a true believer in saying yes to everything. If it's good, if it's an opportunity, if it feels right to you. And so I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I'm going to do it. That morning, you guys, I was crying like a baby. I called my friend. I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? I'm going to be shaking, and how am I going to talk to dead people? Because I'm too nervous. And something popped in my head. Sorry, still morning voice. Something popped in my head to go on YouTube and do a fear of public speaking hypnosis. So I'm like, okay. You guys, it was a 20-minute meditation. I was so calm, so grounded. I went to the event, wasn't nervous at all. Matter of fact, the host was like, what's wrong with you? You're like so calm, because she's used to me more hyper. And I'm like, yeah, I got a problem. I did this hypnosis and I'm like really calm. She's like, well, wake up. But getting to the point was, so that worked for me. So obviously I'm a true believer. When you said get out of your comfort zone, I wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't step into my fear-based opportunities, right? So I am, from my own experience, and that my truth to me is my experiences. I'm not going to believe what every teacher says out there. My truth comes from my experiences. So all I can share from like myself was, every time I stepped into one of those places I was fearful of, especially public speaking, because that was the doozy, miracles came, right? So every time you get out of your comfort zone, more and more and more opportunities, people, synchronicity comes into your life. You know, just, and someone told me once, you know, I'll never forget it, because I was like, oh my God, I'm so nervous. And my journey was like really fast doing this. And they're like, Sheri, remember these 2 words, just show up. So that is kind of my motto now. You know, I'm just like, okay, whatever, even, you know, today, I'm like, oh, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You know, it's just, you get to a point again, surrender and allowing, and just show up, because you don't know what's going to happen.
So
Step
true.
step into what you're afraid of. Because, you know, what if that is going to be the miracle that you've been waiting for?
Yeah.
I always say going through the veil of fear, because I call it the veil of fear. Because
Okay.
once you go through it, more times than not, you will go, wow, this is better than I ever anticipated.
And you might enjoy it.
I'm afraid of, right.
Yeah.
There's always a, you know, of like an epiphany of, wow, this is amazing. Why was I afraid of this? You know, even if it's getting out of a bad relationship because you're afraid of what's going to be down, or if you have to start over. But sometimes taking that leap of faith, getting through that veil of fear, allows you to open up your life in ways you've never even thought of opening them up or anticipated opening it up.
My journey was so quick, and I think it's just because I was just showed up and I was like, okay, let's go, you know. And or some people, you know, some mediums, and I'm not saying there's a right way or wrong way for any medium or anyone that does this work, but like, you know, a lot of people will meditate before they do readings. They'll meditate before they do a gallery. I'm just going to tell you what I do. I feel like in a gallery, especially, I need to get charged up. I go in the bathroom before, right? And I jump up and down and say, okay, Spirit, let's do this, you know? So, I mean, I'm more of a person that gets like pumped up, you know? Some people need to go into that meditative state. So again, it's mastering you and finding out what works for you, your mind, you know, who you're talking to, who you're working with. And there isn't just one way, you know?
That's the beauty of it. There isn't one way, and
Thank God.
everybody has the,
Right?
and it's, again, it's as an individual as your fingerprint. You can make it your own. As I say, you could put 10 psychics in a room or 10 mediums in a room. Nobody's wrong, but everybody's getting the information they're getting.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just might be something you didn't expect, because you were thinking it's going to be a normal, my mom's going to come, my dad's going to come. But what if somebody you never anticipated come through, you're not going to turn them away.
No.
Well, that actually was funny. I was doing a reading once. I remember this was years ago, and people do, think they're going to get their mother or their father, but you sometimes, as a medium, we need to tell them, we don't know who's going to show up.
Right.
And it might be someone you didn't know because they're the best communicator, right?
Yeah.
One time I was reading somebody and I'm like, I get names a lot, so I'm really good with names. I'm like, Abraham's here. He's telling me he wrote a stagecoach and he's in the 1800s. The lady's like, girl, you're nuts. I don't know that. I don't know any Abraham from the 1800s. I'm like, don't ask me. That's who's here. Well, she went and talked to her mom and she's like, oh my God, you have a great, great grandfather that lived in the 1800s named Abraham. Now, why did he show up instead of the grandma? I don't know. But people, you should be, clients and stuff. Well, I even think like, Mike, I'm sure you run into this. People will be like, well, why is my loved one here? Like, they're just, sometimes there's no message. Sometimes they're just here because they love you and they want you to know they're here.
Yeah.
And right.
I mean, if you come for, you call it a gallery reading, we have an evening of clairvoyance, then your loved one knows that you are there, presumably not for just 2 hours entertainment.
Right.
In your mind, in your psyche, you would like to hear from them if it's at all possible. So they come. Well, in fact, they're never away from you. They're just sharing the same space, but on a different frequency.
Yes.
So, yeah, and there can be a thousand reasons why they come and why they don't come. Well, I didn't like my husband on the earth plane, so I don't want to speak with him now. So,
I'm talking about, yeah.
Right. Yeah, so there's that. But, just to answer your question about the nerves for a gallery thing, you know what? It's very true. Someone told me, remember, they're more afraid of you than you are of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Because what is she going to say in front of all these people? Yeah.
Would you ever when you're walking out in a gallery or a demonstration and you're looking at everybody, everyone's like tense and quiet?
Yeah.
So I always start out with a joke and get everyone laughing because then that raises the vibration and people, we're just real people. We have normal lives. We're not spooky.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I mean, we have problems like everybody else.
Psychics are spookier than psychics.
But then, the other thing is, I think that everybody, especially now with COVID, the way the world is, I definitely feel that our loved ones are always with us, but they're really strong around us now. More of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and so you guys, whoever's watching this, just trust whoever your loved one is. They are with you, and then it's your intention brings them in. The medium's not doing it. It's your love. We're just the mouth. We're the messenger. Your love, your connection with them. When you talk to them, they hear you.
It's almost like your frequency is reaching out to them saying, come on, there's somebody who's going to be, you can, give me information from, come and visit. Right. I'm here doing this. And then, you're the vessel, you're the conduit between spirit and the human beings. And so you just, you get what you get and share what you share.
And I always want to say though, I'm not special, none of us are. And, I mean, we're all special in our own right, but you know what I'm saying? My journey started out in my later years, right? One day, Archangel Michael came, hugged me, and I woke up a medium. I'm like, okay, life just got weird. So I always tell people, if this could happen to me, why couldn't it happen to you? I believe every human being is a psychic and a medium. It's just another sense, just like, but some people might be better at it than others, but it's also, how much you practice and get into it or whatever, or, some people, trust those instincts. One time I was driving and I wanted to turn right. And actually my mom had died. So I was doing her estate. So I had 2 banks to go to. So I'm driving, I'm going to go to Merrill Lynch, go to the first bank. Next thing you know, I'm turning left and I'm like, what the hell? No, I'm going this way first. But somehow naturally, with doing what we do, we just do this stuff now. We don't even know it. And, if you have that urge to turn left instead of right, do it. So I turn left. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I'm going to, Chase first, right? Chase Bank. I walk into Chase Bank. There's a woman there who's a manager. I had met her once before. She never helps clients. She's never in the main lobby. I walk in. She's like, oh, hi, how are you? It's so nice to see you. Go, she knows what one time I was at the bank and her brother came through and gave her a message. And so I'm like, oh, hi, and she's like, what are you doing? And next thing I know, her deceased brother comes through. It was her birthday. She had a cancer scare. So his spirit guided me to go to that first bank, first bank first, while
Yeah.
she was standing in the lobby. And that's what happened the first time I met her too. She was in the lobby and took care of me. And she's like, I never help customers. And her brother came through. So, or, if you feel like you're supposed to, if you want to turn right and you feel like you turn left, maybe you're avoiding an accident, right?
Yeah.
So trust your inner guidance, or those little, people talk about, like, mom's instincts, because that is your soul or somebody communicating with you.
And
Yeah.
when you follow these, when you take these intuitive hits, is what I would call them,
Mhm.
and you follow them, it'll open up your intuition even further
Yes.
and
Yeah.
give you more. So it's sort
Yeah.
of like, it's like a little crack and you get a little information,
Yeah.
and then it gets wider and wider and wider. And pretty soon you're wide open, you're receiving.
Mhm.
And whether you use it professionally or not is sort of irrelevant.
Yeah.
But if you use it, it comes because you need to use it to help guide your life and help guide the people around you.
Right. I had a really cool experience once. It just popped in my head. So spirit just popped stuff in my head to talk about. So if I'm rambling, I apologize, but they put these things in my head. I went to an event. It was in New York at Omega.
I
And
love Omega.
I was staying at this house, like I rented a room at a house or whatever. And I fell asleep. And this had to be about 5 or 6 years ago. And I was in a really deep sleep. And my dreams are really like active, like, someone's always talking to me. Okay. It's where I get all of my teachings or whatever. And I kept hearing this voice in my head when I was sleeping, and it sounded like a voice and going, see me for who I am. See me for who I am. It's yelling at me. So in my sleep, I'm yelling at it. I'm like, well, who are you? I can't see you. So like arguing, and it kept yelling at me, see me for who I am. And I kept saying, who are you? I was screaming, who are you? And all of a sudden it answers and it goes, your inner compass. So, I was always thinking it was like an outside thing talking to me, and it was actually my soul,
Yeah.
So we all got a soul, guys. Your soul can talk, just as like ours. But again, it's having that awareness and maybe even having that intention, or start seeking or questioning, right?
Absolutely.
So
Sorry to interrupt, but Sheri, tell everybody where they can find you.
I'm out here on Facebook, or my website is sherithemedium.com, SHERI. I do events. Every month I've been doing an event with Lisa Salvatore, who's a medium in New York. And that is like, we limit it to 12 people, so everybody gets a message. Marla's been there. We are going to have one on Valentine's Day, because we wanted to, we were going to stay away from exactly Valentine's Day. I'm like, no, we're going to do it on Valentine's Day. So, God forbid, if I work with a lot of dead kids too. I have a lot of teenagers that come to me, because I will say their message, how they talk. That's my belief. But we want to do it on Valentine's Day so that, if somebody is truly grieving or going through a hard time and feeling lonely, what a better way to spend with love from the spirit world, right?
That's beautiful. Absolutely.
So we didn't even post it yet. We're going to post that on Sunday. That's when the link will go live. But yeah, so we don't, and then message me on Facebook. It doesn't matter. You can find me.
You can. Sheri Jewel. Mike, do you have anything coming up this week or the next 2 weeks?
No, we've just got our normal healing circles and spirit communication circle, and then we have our online circle. It's kind of a thing where they're all mediums and quite skilled, so we pretty much use it as a think tank type of thing, where we can expand and try different things and get them wrong without worrying about who's.
Isn't that nice?
That's so nice.
That's true. Anyone starting this gift, that's the other thing, is like, I'm always like, when I do teach, because I have the meetup, and I'm like, automatic writing is a huge thing for me. It's very easy. I'm like, whatever pops in your head, write it down. You know what? Because you don't, and I think that's where most people, like beginners that do this work, get stuck, is like, what if I'm wrong? Well, you know what? Join a circle, right?
Yeah.
There's meetups, there's, church circles, there's, all these different kind of things. And you got to practice, and you start to learn how your soul spirit's communicating with you, and learn the trick of, is it me talking to the worst thing, right? Is it me talking to myself, or am I actually hearing it? And it's practice by joining a circle, classes, workshops, etc. Definitely is the way to go.
True.
Absolutely. And you, Marla, what's on the agenda?
I am teaching a class on the 11th of February, and it's Journey to Self-Love 101. You know, I'm a huge, I call myself the ambassador of spiritual and self-love, because many people look outside themselves on Valentine's Day and they feel bad about not having a partner, whatever. But one thing you always have is yourself. And when you learn to accept and love yourself for who you are, it just makes you just happy being in your own company, comfortable in your own skin. And so I'm going to have a little class, an introductory on self-love and how to get there. I mean, it's a process, but this is step one. So you can find it on my page, my Marla Goldberg Energy Healing page. There's an event that Bridget put up for me, and I'll be doing that on February 11th as well.
Super.
But that's true. Self-love is everything, you guys. And right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mike said, if you don't love yourself, how can you truly love somebody else?
Or how is somebody else going to love you if you don't love yourself? Because like meets where like is. So if you're not loving yourself, your vibration, your frequency really tends to stay lower. When you learn to love yourself, when you learn to accept yourself and not judge and criticize, which is a process. It's not something that happens like this. You raise your frequency, you raise your vibration, and then like will meet like, and then you'll meet someone who is really more appropriate in your vibration.
Well, I'll tell you what, Marla, I'll just read this, and then if you want to wrap it up. But this is something which explains it perfectly. The universe responds to your frequency. It doesn't recognize your personal desires, wants, or needs. It only understands the frequency in which you are vibrating at. For example, if you are vibrating in the frequency of fear, guilt, or shame, you're going to attract things of a similar vibration to support that frequency. If you're vibrating in the frequency of love, joy, and abundance, you're going to attract things to support that frequency. It's like tuning into a radio station. You have to be tuned into the radio station you want to listen to, just like you have to be tuned into the energy you want to manifest in your life.
So true.
Wow.
The truer words are not said. And my spirit said to me, you need to call him the professor.
I'm here.
Get him some like little glasses.
The professor.
Get your glasses out, Mike. Do you have glasses?
No, but I can get them if you like, and if it helps, then
You've had many lifetimes of doing this, though.
As we all have, or we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to round this up and pull all these wonderful comments together. And thank you, Sheri, for being a part of this. The conversation was as insightful and inspirational and educational as the meditation, which was phenomenal. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Just love you.
Nice meeting you.
Mike, as always,
yeah.
Thank you for being my cohort, for being my colleague in
partner in crime.
Yeah, my partner in crime. I'm so grateful for you every day. Mike and I are so grateful for you for coming into this meditation. And I know Sheri's grateful today as well, but for you to come into this meditation, to take time out of your day, out of your morning, out of your life, to receive what we're offering to you. And we're offering it to you with love, because we are all invested in your highest and best good, and for you to receive what's for your highest and best good. And as always, we leave you by sending love, blessings, and gratitude. Know how much you're loved by us, and we're grateful for you following us, participating with us, and being in our lives in whatever capacity you are. So stay well, and we'll see you the next time.